Yeah, the good news for you is you were muted.
Hi, this is Mason.
We have sort of a problem here.
And you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins Presents.
You apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Transfer Portal Syracuse.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out.
With Brian Higgins and Jordan Capozzi.
Did you see the memo about this?
Capozzi.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Capozzi.
And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
Capozzi.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
With this week's TPS Report.
If you could go ahead and try to remember to do that from now on, that'd be great.
Here's Brian and Jordan.
All right.
All right, well, these shows, this whole channel is known for hitting the wrong button on stuff, just like a lot. So I thought I'd mix it up today, Jordan. Normally I hit the wrong button in like the middle of the show. Today I said, let's try something new. Let's hit the wrong button to start the show. That'll throw people off. People won't know what's coming when you just screw up right out the gate. What's up, man?
I like it. It's got moxie.
Yeah,
I respect
it's like,
it very much.
No. You know we're going to screw this up, and by we, I mean me. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. We're going to screw it up right now, and then we can move on. We can move on with our day. Why screw up later when you can screw up immediately to start the show? That's my new that's the new motto of the entire channel. Welcome everybody. Though.
You're breaking the status quo. It's
Yeah.
like remember for a hot 2 days when everybody was posting those videos on Instagram that were really thin?
Do I remember that?
Like the super wide shots?
I don't know.
You'll remember. It was a thing.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers.
I guess I never partook in making them. I guess I didn't join. Hello, Grover's Tale. But welcome in. We got a TPS report here on a Wednesday night. Link pin top of the chat. Y'all know the deal. If you'd like to join the show throughout, yes, Jordan's name. When Jordan logs into the system, he can type his name, so you can see him there. It's the same system you guys use to call into the show. Usually he writes things like Jordan or Jordan. Today he wrote Drake May, and he's wearing his Pats hat. So I think I'm still confused on this Drake May thing. Where did that come from? Like what? I don't know the origin. Is there an origin story to his nickname being his name?
I'm pretty sure he just doesn't have a nickname, so it's his nickname.
Okay. But it goes in the middle. I find that interesting. His nickname goes in the middle, and it doesn't replace either the original Drake or the original May.
Well, Brian, Drake May would just sound stupid.
Yeah. And it's not Drake May. It's Drake May. You gotta add the pauses in there. He's pretty good. I think we'll get a decent enough game on Sunday. A lot of people are writing the Pats off, which I find just odd. I don't know what that's based on. They're like, well, yes, the invincible Seahawks, who have been here a million times before, certainly will handle their business against the Pats. I think we'll get a good game on Sunday. I hope we get a good game on Sunday. So Super Bowl Sunday around the corner. Basketball coming up again Saturday. Syracuse at Virginia. We have the second lax game of the year going on simultaneously with Syracuse hosting St. Joe's. They've got a bird. Their bird never dies. The St. Joe's Hawk just keeps flapping. We have a bird on these channels now. A lot of owls are about. I don't know. Where do you want to go, Jordan, with the basketball conversation? Obviously, it's steered away from the court a lot recently. I just found it strange, right? Like, in a different frame of reference, that crazy pandemonium comeback attempt could have been interesting. Instead, it was just like, oh, now you do it.
It was interesting to some.
It was interesting to some. They did, as I did note after the game, good teams win, great teams cover. That was a 10.5-point spread. Syracuse lost only by 10 after trailing by as many as 32. It's a backdoor cover for the ages. But I don't know how you were consuming the game on Monday. Like I'm sitting here, same chair, TV's right over to my left. I'm watching, but like it's a 32-point game. Even myself, who was hosting a post-game show, I'm just not that locked in on what's happening at that point. And then you look up, you're like, it's a 19-point game. Wonder how that happened. And you're like, huh, it's a 7-point game. And then the inevitable happened, but it was just weird. Like, for something that was nearly just like an all-timer comeback / collapse, it goes down almost as if nothing happened on Monday.
Even when they were within 6, I believe it was, there was so little time that it never felt like anything. Credit to them for doing it. I think there's some beautiful irony in the fact that a team which has consistently lost games by being awful in the second half pulled off.
They gave it the old flipperoo.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough. Obviously, it's a lot of what UNC was doing. Brian, we can talk about the game all we want, right? And I have some on the court stuff. I want to play a little game with you later. It's brought to you by Advanced Analytics, but on the court stuff is on the court stuff. And I think the most intriguing part of this, some might not. I'm a big social media guy.
Yes.
But what was your reaction to Carmelo Anthony going on an official Syracuse men's basketball Instagram post with the SMFH? Because I know we're not supposed to care that much about social media, but Melo knows he has eyes on him. Melo's son, on the team. Melo, the greatest player in program history. Some could argue. He was only there 1 year, so whatever. But what do you make of it? Because to me, it's my main takeaway is, come on, Melo. You can't do that, man. Come on.
We broke this down a little bit in postgame because it was kind of happening in real time then. Like, we were trying to figure out what was going on. And what's weird, right? Like, it was a reaction. Like, the game, at the time he did that, right? The game wasn't completely out of hand, if I'm recalling the timeline. And it was on what? A highlight of, was it a Donnie 3 or something?
Donnie.
Yeah, it was a highlight of a first half made basket that cut the lead from 9-6. It was inconsequential in many ways. So, at first look, I was trying to figure out what the play was. I'm like, oh, was that the crazy half-court or leaning out-of-bounds shot he hit to end the half? And it wasn't. It was a more ordinary play. So, at first I'm like, maybe this is like, oh, I'm shaking my head because it was an unbelievable play. And I tried to talk myself into that for a while, and I don't think we quite got there. It's bizarre, right? Because Melo, and we've talked about this, and I've been impressed by this all season long, for who Melo is, for the I don't even say platform, platforms Melo has, of which he has many, including being 6'8" and sitting courtside, including his 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast, which sometimes airs not at 7 p.m., including the fact that he's on NBC now, again, including the fact that he's Carmelo Anthony, and if he says stuff, it's going to be out there in the world. Like, he hasn't stepped a foot wrong all season in being the star dad to the potential star player. Then you add in Cayenne's been struggling, and he's still. And let's also examine this. This happens the game after Cayenne did not play in the second half. So what does that have to do with it? So I don't know. Is this Melo with frustration about his team? Is this Melo with, it seems much more likely, like Melo's not putting it out there because he's suddenly really invested in the Cuse game. He's never he's always been a fan, but he's never really done that before. It's got to be Cayenne related, right? So what does that say? And then when you start spinning it forward to the conversations that are going to come when things happen after the season, which include, like, will Cayenne be back on the team? Like, is Melo going to be involved in that? Like, it brings up everything. It brings up all the things we've been talking about all year, but it adds a really weird twist, doesn't it? That I honestly, I don't know what to make of it, because Melo's in such an interesting position that if he wants to exert some serious influence on all of this, he has the name, the pocketbook, and the kid to do all, to like hit it from any angle he wants. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. And I have no idea which way the wind's blowing with Melo for that. I don't know, because usually he's just sitting there smiling and wearing a nice hat. This was way out of character for what he's put out there about this team.
Yeah, for a guy of Melo's status, he doesn't usually go out of his way to be seen and heard. Like, no. Let's start there. This isn't like a few games ago, I believe it was DeJuan Coleman. Did you see this? He screenshotted JJ Starling's Instagram story and posted, like, I don't want players walking into games with purses and Starbucks. I want killers in ski masks or something like that. So
Didn't he?
yeah, that
Doesn't
was
he
a
have a
thing.
clothing line?
Yeah, that's yeah.
The years he was hurt, he walked into the games all dressed up with fancy sweaters and everything. Neither here nor
But
there.
my point is, no disrespect to Coleman, but you're not even close to the most important or best Coleman in program history.
No,
So
you
you can
can't-
say stuff like that.
You
It gets
can't hold
swept
the other
under the
Coleman's
rug.
jock. Like, you're not in the same
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, but this is Melo. So now what happens? Like, I'm sure Melo's not just going to stop going to games, right? But is there now a little bit of tension? Like, that's what's weird to me about it. Is it's not just like when you're Carmelo Anthony, you don't put stuff out there simply because it's your opinion. You put stuff out there because you know it's going to be seen. And credit to Kyan. He was asked after the game, I want to say it was the Daily Orange, and he talked about how he's totally fine with his role with the team right now. But when I talked to him a few games back, he did find a way to slip the answer into the question that he wasn't in at the end of the game, and he's only been in less and less. And it's just very weird. Like, now what do you do? They're all grown men. They'll put it aside, right? But it's kind of weird. Now Melo, is he still going into the locker room after the game and hanging with everyone? And it's just odd.
Yeah. And not that he would have automatically been at the Carolina game. Like, I don't know, his work, like he was working NBC in New York on Monday night for their start of Sunday Night Basketball. Obviously, he's a busy guy with a busy schedule. He quite literally wears a lot of hats. But I don't know. Like, the next road game's at Virginia Saturday, and then the next home game is the Wednesday after it for Cal. I think it'll be very interesting to see it. Like, is Carmelo at that game on Wednesday night? Because he clearly wants to scout Chris Bell in person. I don't know. The whole thing is bizarre. And then you look at Cayenne, and it's one thing where if Cayenne was Cayenne Jones, you'd look at him and be like, well, yeah, he's a freshman. He's having a freshman kind of season. If Cayenne was Cayenne Jones and it was 2003 or 2005 when Melo was around playing, you'd be like, man, I can see it. I can see he's not there yet, but you just wait a few years. This guy's going to be really good. And I say the same thing about Sadiq White. Like, if this was a different time and place of basketball, I would be saying, man, when Sadiq, like, next year, I think they're going to start getting something. And by the time, like, Sadiq and Cayenne are junior and seniors, my goodness, they're going to be a handful. But the conversation we're actually having instead is, yeah, I wonder if there's any shot in hell they'll be on the team next year. And, I mean, that's more of a statement on college sports in general than anything. But it just stinks. Like, that's the conversation we have now. And it's the conversation you have to have. Because I'd love to watch those two play for whomever the coach is in next year and the year after. But I don't know if we're going to get to do that.
Yeah, and I see a lot of our usual chatters in here, which I appreciate. But I see
Sup, chat?
FMTX Mark, who I don't recall seeing a ton. And he brings up a great point, which is, does he feel he's the starting two guard? From what you've seen this year, you can't possibly slot Cayenne into a starting slot, right? You don't, no way. So,
like, the
I don't
conversation
know what you do.
happened in the first few games of the year against the lower level competition. JJ's out hurt. Cayenne goes off. Then you got into the real games, and Cayenne's a freshman. Like, some people are like, oh, he's a bust. I'm like, no, he's not a bust. He's a freshman. Like, you can't know that yet. It's like, he didn't come in as the number one recruit in the country. He was 30-something. Like, there was no guarantee he was going to come in and be all that right away. And I think before the season, we couched that. It's like, I don't know. And then he came out on fire, and it's like, oh, well, maybe we had this all wrong. And now he's a freshman again. And you get into these games, and, like, are you going to, and I get JJ's been, a little bit all over the map, but Cayenne hasn't done enough in the games to be like, all right, we're going to keep him in down the stretch. Like, Nate Kings is one of your more productive players late in games. You're not taking him out for Cayenne right now. Like, plus, the head coach is desperately trying to save his job. Like, he's not an idiot. Like, he knows they got to win a bunch of games here. So, I don't know. Like, I think big picture, long term, I'd still buy Cayenne stock. It's not this year, and I don't know if it's going to be at Syracuse.
before I say anything else, I've been saying this all year, so I'm just gonna say it. Man, that Nate Kings is terrible, isn't he? He's just really been hurting the team. They should really start somebody else instead of Nate Kings, man. That guy is such a bust. What a waste of NIL, man. That Nate Kings. Ugh. Yeah, that was making me so mad the whole time. And all he had to do was start hitting his shot, and everybody's happy. But he does a bunch of other things.
Yeah. Now he's arguably like the second best player on the team.
Yeah, I also thought Kyan was doing very well.
He was.
If we're talking, he was, but I thought he'd be better. I have a question for you too, which is, and again, I'm sure you've answered this a little. It's a two-parter. One, do you really think that the whole Donnie thing was just matchup based? Because I feel like it's a little bit of both. But two, okay, so that answers that.
No.
Two, how do you the next game go back and start him after you finally got a win? Yes, I know it was Notre Dame. Yes, I know it's Donnie Freeman. Yes, I know it seems idiotic benching your best player, but how do you do it one game? It works, and then the next game you stray away from it.
And then,
like, I'm sorry, it's desperation mode.
And I get it's Carolina. I get Notre Dame's bad and Carolina's good. So obviously things are not going to work the same. And I'm not necessarily I'm still baffled that I laid out before Red had his press conference on Saturday. I think I laid out 3 or 4 reasons. I'm like, I'll be intrigued to see what he says about Donnie. Is he going to say he was trying to get better ball movement? Is he going to say, because he said the Sadiq effort thing after the previous game, is he going to say we were rewarding Sadiq's effort? Is he going to say, oh, he had a minor violation of team rules, it's not a big deal, but we had to prove a point? Like, any of those, true or not, I could have bought into and gone with it. I cannot buy into, especially against Notre Dame, who's not a big physical team. I couldn't look at it and be like, oh yeah, the scouting report was like, yeah, clearly our best players should sit to start the game. Like, no, that didn't make sense. And if that's really the reason, like, either it's not the reason and Red didn't want to say the real reason, because honestly, any of those other reasons, you also don't want to go out there and be like, hey, my star player was given crap effort not passing the ball, like, which may be the real reason. But then you put him back in the starting lineup, and all of the great ball movement that everybody lauded on Saturday disappeared immediately. Like, it was gone. Now, to put it all on Donnie, I don't know. But it vanished. There wasn't any ball movement. And yeah, Carolina's better, but let's not confuse North Carolina with a defensive juggernaut. Like, they're not exactly all defense when it comes to a team in the ACC. So I don't know. Like, Donnie not on the floor to start the game against Notre Dame, ball humming around. Donnie in the game to start the game, ball stuck. I mean, 1 + 1 might equal 2 here, and then you're in a weird spot, right? Like, he's clearly your best player, but if the ball's moving better without him, how can you get him to move the ball? I don't know. And thus in lies, many of the problems that Red has run into this season, because he's stuck with, like, while I think we can all agree he hasn't done a great job, he's also stuck with weird answers to questions, right? Like, if your best player coming off the bench is the right answer, that's weird. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. And then again, it was Notre Dame. Notre Dame's terrible. Yeah, things looked better against Notre Dame. That might have happened regardless of who was on the floor to start the game. Yeah, and I'm not. First of all, I promise this isn't hindsight 2020, because I was talking to everybody right after the Notre Dame game, and I was asking everybody in there who I talked to. So you can't start Donnie now next game, right? And I'm not saying Sadiq should play until he gets 2 fouls either, but run it for 2 minutes and see if the energy is the same. Yeah. Now, also, let's be real.
And
there's
if you run it for 2 minutes,
behind the scenes.
Sadiq could have 2 fouls. Like, if you,
yeah.
Like,
also, it's a big Monday game against Blue Blood on ESPN, and Donnie, who wants to go to the NBA. If you can't sit him or there either, because that's just a bad look. So I see both, but I'm surprised. But I agree with Kev and others. I think something was happening. I personally think something was happening. And I see Michael Antonio asking Kyle at the 4 and Swery at the 5. I can't do Kyle at the 4. I can't do Kyle at the 4. I'm sorry.
Those two together. Oh,
I'm sorry.
God, that would be an offensive disaster.
putting Kyle and Suarez on the floor at the same time. Defense swarming. Offense, grease fire, like absolute grease fire fest on offense. Suarez was our Wildbirds Unlimited player of the game last game by popular acclaim. Because we asked the chat, all right, who sparked the run in the second half? Because I don't know, because I wasn't really paying attention. And Jen, among others, answered it was Suarez. So I said, all right, Akir Suarez. And then found a really great picture of Akir Suarez, which made it tied the whole room together. It was fantastic.
I'll give it to you. Do you know this, Brian? Because I've, much like I think a lot of us have, and hand up, I suck. I've given up on keeping track of who has eligibility because, one, the COVID year just made me not want to, even though it's not a thing. And two, guys can just leave anyway. And three, guys can just sue and maybe get eligibility. Who besides Donnie and the freshman has eligibility?
Okay, so JJ doesn't. Kyle doesn't. At least let's put it this way. They shouldn't. JJ doesn't. Kyle doesn't. Nate King's is a bizarre case that I don't have any idea because he's one of the ones that could fit into 90,000. Like he played NIIA. It's entirely possible Nate Kings has more eligibility. I'd bring him back if he had more eligibility. I don't even know where to go on Nate Kings. Nate George has one more year left because he
not at Syracuse. He doesn't.
Somewhere he has one more. Here's the thing about I asked this question the other day about Nate George. All right, so Nate George was a better player the last 2 years, right? Is there a chance that the next head coach would be like, I can work with this guy? I mean, I'd say it's a non-zero chance. Like I
also don't know if you promise him a starting spot and bring him back.
No, I'd say
that.
it's a low percent. Like
start.
It's a low percentage play, but I mean, depending on who gets the job, like it could be a fascinating scenario. He's got time left. Tyler Betsy has 2 years remaining. I believe last year counted as eligibility for him at Cincinnati.
Oh, God. He's a guy. I'll take him back in a heartbeat, but I feel like some school is just going to see how well he can shoot and is going to just offer him money because you get paid for 3-point shots.
Mm-hmm.
And someone, I promise, somebody will offer to pay him solely for the fact that if you give him 8 threes a game, he will probably hit 4 of them.
All right, what's he? Hang on, let me look up the stats real quick. He's in the 40s right now? Is that?
I think he got way up into the 40s. He was like 32 early in the season, and then he told me that he knows he's a 40% shooter, so he'll just keep shooting until the averages play out. And I believe he got back up above 40.
All right, he's at 40.4 right now, so he's exactly on it. So kudos to Tyler for knowing his game. He's made 36 threes. Second on the team, the Nate Kings. Nate Kings is now shooting 37.5% from 3. So water finding its level with both of those guys. Like Betsy's a guy, yeah, I'd take him back in a heartbeat. But again, to your point, he's a guy that people, based on his recruiting pedigree and the way he shot it this year, there will be stuff said about him out there that people, would be intrigued by him. Akir Suarez has time left. How many years was he at Georgia Tech? Hang on. Clicking. Okay. So he was a freshman, then a redshirt freshman. This is his sophomore year. So he has 2 years of eligibility remaining. Who else do we got? Calvin Russell.
There we go.
He's got 3 years left.
He's got eligibility.
Luke Fennell, who I think is going to be fascinating to see what happens with him in the offseason. He has 3 years left. Like, he's a guy, he hasn't played, but if I'm the next coach, like, you want to try to keep a guy like that on the roster just in case, right? He's 6'6" and was highly touted. I believe Bryce Zephyr has run out of eligibility, but who knows? We all remember Chefing Diawara. Yes, you all know Chefing Diawara, the very tall center. He played 4 games for some reason this year instead of just straight redshirting. He'll have 3 years left. The one player that intentionally redshirted is the 6'6" shooter from Milwaukee, Aaron Womack. And perhaps most importantly, Noah Lebdel's got 2 years left.
Really?
He's listed as a sophomore on the roster. So that's the roster. So actually, like a lot of guys actually do have eligibility left. But as we know, in this era of anything, it just doesn't matter. Like you could tell me, and this is why I think the timing is going to be interesting. And this is where I think in Syracuse's favor, the portal being moved to after the title game this year really helps out a team that is likely to change coaches, right? Because instead, like if the portal opened when it did 2 years ago, like Selection Sunday, portal opens on Monday, like you don't have your new coach hired yet, or you're screwed. If the portal opened when it did last year, which was after the first 2 rounds of the tournament, so 8 days after Selection Monday, maybe you got your coach hired early. Maybe you're in it with not Hurley. I know some people want Bobby Hurley, but maybe you're in it with half a chance. Then now, all right, say Syracuse's season ends in Charlotte in the first or second round of the ACC tournament. Presumably you make that move like later that day or the next day. All right. Also, presumably, if you're John Wildhack, you're doing the other work right now. You're getting yourself ready to go. So the process, in theory, should play out quasi-quickly, right? That at least you got your ducks in a row, a week or 2. So then the new guy, in theory, would have like 2 full weeks. Now, I know stuff's happened and things are promised, but nothing official would have happened yet. You'd have 2 full weeks to come, meet everybody, essentially like exit interview everybody, you'd have time to watch tape. You'd have time to at least get half a sense of it, right? Of who that was there you'd want to throw in and try to keep. And I think that's valuable, right? Because before, like, everyone would just be gone. Now you'd at least have a chance, because I think, like, some of these guys could be valuable. Like, I'd love to keep Sadiq and Cayenne. I think you almost put them in a different category, but I'd love to keep them. I'd love to keep Fennell, because I think he could be something someday. I'd love to keep Betsy, but you'd love if Nate Kings is a whole different category if he has eligibility or not, but you'd love to keep some of these guys, but I think now you'll at least have time to have a chance to do it. And then if you have time to do that, then you can also have plenty of time. You're not totally behind the 8 ball and going out and filling out the roster, which, if this had happened a year ago or 2 years ago, you'd be just completely screwed for a year and a half.
Yeah, I wonder what Alex Klein is doing right now. Also, say, like, if Red doesn't come back, does Klein come back? How does that work?
Well, that's one where, again, I don't know what his contract is, but it's one where if you're the administration, now obviously Alex might have other offers and you do whatever's best for you. Like, if you're the administration, you don't clean him out immediately because you need somebody in the room to be the voice of the program until there's a voice of the program. And like in this scenario, he's probably the best choice because the next most important thing is roster retention and filling out the roster. And now I think we can all look at what he's done and say, like, I think he's done a decent enough job, right? And who knows what type of guy, like the next person may have a guy, or if the next person is coming from a slightly lower level, you might want a guy like Klein that has at least operated at this level at least for a year until you get your feet wet. So, yeah, I think he's not somebody you automatically just toss out. Now, just the way of the world, a lot of that stuff is everyone gets cleaned out a lot of the times, and that's sad. And, it's a lot of people with jobs and families, and it's the whole thing that we talked about last year with Dino, and you don't think about all the assistants and all that. It sucks. But Klein would be, I'd say, of everybody in the room, he would have the best chance of still being in the room.
Okay. That's why I asked, because I didn't know if it was, he's the GM, right? It's a new position. It's not like, I think you just kind of assume that if Red goes, all of the assistants go. I don't think that's do you keep Engelstead? But I would assume that Engelsted's the only one, maybe, and I doubt it. So that's why I was curious, because he's not an assistant coach, but it does kind of feel like he's there working in lockstep with Red, which is why
he's the one that's at least on a slightly different timetable, right? Just because of the nature of his job. And it's one where, like, if I'm the next head coach, I want to talk to that guy before we make any decisions about it. Like, you want to know what's going on, what's the deal, what's been good, what's been bad. Can this guy help me? And if you're the next head coach and you don't have, because the GM position is still relatively new, you could easily not have somebody you totally trust to be that guy. I don't know. I like Alex. I think he's doing a decent enough job, but at the same time, like, everything could be better about the operation, right? Like, everything could be better. And it's possible you get a new guy that comes in and says, everything should be better. And that's that. Like, look what happened when Fran was here. Like complete turnover, including the swag daddy. It's just everything. Like, that's what happens in coaching changes. It's just the way of the world, and I don't know.
I will say, like, if you call the Portal Klein's thing, then I would say he hit on most of the guys. He didn't hit on Nate George so far, but I'd call Tyler Betsy a success based on what you brought him in for. I'd call Nate Kings a success, especially how he's played late. I'd call William Kyle a massive success, almost worth 2 points. Soiree, I find it hard to believe he wasn't just kind of a package deal with Nate, but you didn't expect much from him. I'd say he's, if you erase that airballed 3 from history, I'd say he's brought more positive than negative. So I think Klein's done a great job.
Well, I also look, Jordan,
I just don't know how it works.
The main way I look for Alex is the way we discuss this a lot. I look at the previous offseason, which was a grease fire, and I look at the past offseason, which was organized, and I say, what was different from this one to that one? And you point directly at him. So, like, with that, I give him lots of credit, because the year before was just, it was a bleep show. Like, it was a mess. They were like, center, Lampkin, you're big, come here. And then, like, oh, we got this big guy. Like, we need other people. That's
a big fella.
Yeah,
can we get him a restaurant?
Like, he looks like he eats. Well, that's a lot of, what's with the powdered sugar? There's a lot. And then, that it's like, we need a point guard. Well, clearly the new assistant coach will bring his guy. Well, he's in Georgia. What just happened? Oh, let's get how short's this guy at Hofstra? He's shorter than I thought he was. Like, it was a total mess of an offseason. And say what you want about Nate George and this past offseason. Like, think back to the time. At the time, when Syracuse got Nate George, everybody was excited. They got the ACC's leader in assists. Now we've watched him play a lot, and everyone's less excited. But at the time, we knew this. Like, Syracuse's number one goal last offseason was get a point guard. They went out and got the ACC leader in assists. They filled out the roster in ways that seemed to have made sense. And at times it's worked, and then a lot of times it's not. I'd be inclined, if I am the next head coach, to, like, at minimum, try to keep him around. And the other thing that also happens when you hire new head coaches is they often have a way of, you got a little extra sway going on. Look what's happened to the football staff when Fran took over. There's 80 million more people running around. It's possible you could have a GM and a co-GM. Like, you could have multiple GM types, and have a whole room of people. So I would not rule out him being around past the end of the season. And he's an alum. He came back here very intentionally from an NBA job. You gotta factor that in as well, because it's both sides got to turn the key. Alex should just be like, no, I came here to work for Red. Red's gone. I'm out. Like, but I don't know him well enough to know that, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, I prepare for a game I'd like to play, Brian. I would just like to point out all of the bread talk in the chat, whether
Yes.
it's a soup sandwich, whether it's Simply Sweet Sisters sourdough,
Kev
or
just got
whether
a
it's
fresh order of Simply Sweet Sisters sourdough last week, and he's making sandies and the whole thing. It's fantastic. He got delivery
Or,
straight to his porch. That's what
Wow.
you get. If you live in the right zip code, that's on the way places.
and we're even talking NIL bread. Mark's wondering where SU's NIL is nationally, which I don't know, man. Like national,
they
we're
spent
talking
somewhere
nationally,
between-
like power conference.
Yeah, I've heard they spent somewhere between like 7 and 8 this year. I just don't know where that ranks. Like it's not
I've heard you need 10.
it's not nothing, but like North Carolina's running around with like a $16 million roster from everything you read. So that, and when, as we saw on Monday, if a $16 million roster plays an $8 million roster, all numbers approximate, then the $16 million roster has a 32-point lead. And that's just math. That's just, that's simple. That's simple math. That's all that is.
Speaking of math, we like metrics. So I know Evan Miyakawa. I'm sure everybody watching has vaguely heard of him, but if you know Ken Palm has kind of become a mainstay. He's become mainstream, if you will.
Yeah.
Evan Miyakawa, I feel like, is the next generation of advanced analytics, but he focuses on the team. He also focuses on players, and he
He's the
created
guy that created the kill
Bayesian,
shot.
yeah, and the Bayesian performance rating, which quantifies how effective a team or player is using advanced box score metrics, play-by-play data, and historical information. It's
Okay.
not meant to evaluate the past. It's meant to be predictive of the future.
All right.
I was sent a screenshot of somebody, and I found it myself. But did you see this? SU's 10 rotational players. So there's 10 of them, the guys who have played or play the most,
Okay.
ranked from best to worst in terms of their performance rating. Have you seen this?
I have not seen this, no.
Okay, so very quick, Brian. Let's just go.
Is
We
Cayenne
won't
in
make a
last?
big thing of it. He is.
Okay.
He is literally last. And you know what that means, Brian? That means Bryce Zephyr is ahead of him.
I mean, Bryce Zephyr did not turn it over during that stint in Boston College. Or
Now, let's talk about
what game
this.
was that? Whatever game that was.
Of 10 guys, Brian, who do you think is eighth?
So Bryce Zephyr
Knowing-
is ninth.
Yep.
Who do I think is eighth?
Based on who is most effective on a minute per minute, possession by possession basis, or who is expected to be the most effective. This is offensive and defensive, but for what it's worth,
Defensive.
Cayenne is ranked fourth worst on the team offensively.
Yeah. So this is a lot. This is a lot of efficiency data, efficiency metrics. Who do I think is eighth?
Third worst.
JJ?
No, but we're kind of on the same place. We can save JJ because his is interesting too.
Is it Nate George?
It's not.
Oh, is it Donnie?
No, it's
I'm just
it's
guessing this
Sadiq White, Brian.
Oh, I'm
but
just
what
guessing
that
the
means?
starters now.
That means Akir Soare is,
better than
according
Sadiq?
to this data, take it for what it is, more effective possession by possession than Sadiq. Then you got Betsy. You got JJ fifth, William Kyle fourth, Nate George third, Nate King second, Donnie first. What do you think of those? I mean, you always take advanced metrics with a grain of salt, but
Yeah.
do those, like, what of that seems accurate to you and what of that just seems like dumb button pressing, number crunching garbage?
Well, the top two's right, I think. Like Donnie's the best player, and Nate King's in a lot of ways has been your most consistently effective player when you consider both ends of the court. George ranks higher, I think, than we would all think eye test wise, but you'll also have to consider that like his assist numbers are still really high. Like I think he's third in the conference in assists or something like that. So while we're focusing on the turnovers and all the stuff that he can't or hasn't done, like analytics wise, some of that still shines on that, even though I think none of us would agree with it. And yeah, JJ is lower than that. He's not efficient on offense very often. So when you're shooting a whatever percent, I still got the stats up here. What's do I still have the stats up? The actual stats, not the analytical stats. Actual stats were analytics before analytics were cool. JJ is shooting 44.5%, 32% from three. So he's not efficient. He's not efficient. And here's a major difference, right? That has to just hammer him in the analytics for JJ is the free throws. Like Nate George is shooting 79% from the line. JJ is 54%. So I'd imagine like analytically, you talk about analytics. What matters on offense is threes and layups. And a part of the reason that layups matter so much is because shot percentage is high near the rim, and your chance of getting fouled is higher. But JJ is tanking his analytics by getting fouled, but then not taking advantage of it. So yeah, the free throws have to kill his analytics. They got to kill William Kyle's analytics. They're not helping Sadiq's analytics. Yeah, free throws are realistically, when you look at it, I bet that's a significant reason when you crunch the numbers why George is third and the assists.
Yeah, because Kyle's offensive is 0.4 for context, right? So your total rating is how many points better you are expected to be over the course of a game than the average college player.
Mm-hmm.
So Donnie's 5.5. Nate Kings and Nate George are both around 4.8. And then there's a drop off into the twos. The last thing I'll say with these ratings, because I don't want to, kill everybody with numbers. Tyler Betsy, the team's worst defensive player, according to these, by almost 3/4 of a point.
Worse than Cayenne.
Sadiq White. Yes. Cayenne is only fourth worst. They have, Cayenne is second. I moved over to offense. Cayenne's the only other player who's negative on defense.
So Cayenne and Betsy are the two negatives on defense? All right.
Yeah. And then they have Soiree, Sadiq White, Bryce Zephyr, and Cayenne Anthony all as net negatives on offense. Sadiq is 1 full point almost lower than the average college player, according to these metrics. Take that for how you will.
I wonder how much what's a foul proclivity, if that plays at all into this. Because if fouling a lot in limited minutes is bad analytically in this, then Sadiq's going to get just crushed by these things.
Sean has a point too, because of the substitution patterns. Some of these are impacted. Like, for example, Cayenne, when he would get hot in parts of the season early, he would get subbed out. So I mean, he doesn't get a chance to put more on the table. I guess that could make him more efficient. But also with Sadiq, right? You mentioned the fouling. Well, if you start fouling, not only did you just play poorly, but now you're out of the game. So that's your sample size. So again, Sean's right. Take it with a grain of salt. But I thought those were interesting.
Here's Sadiq. I'm still looking at the team box score here. Sadiq is 8th on the team in total minutes played. He's played 374 minutes. He's 8th on the team behind all the 7 people you'd expect to be in front of him. He has committed 62 fouls this year, which is 15 more than anyone else on the roster.
Also, I'm sorry, I feel comfortable giving 20% of those as just garbage calls. I feel like Sadiq just talks so much trash that he's on refs' radars because, I swear, dude, he's had probably 5, no doubt, I feel comfortable saying, but probably 10 fouls that just I've never seen called before. It's incredible. It's this dude has developed a reputation in half a season, it's 2/3 now, but it's incredible.
You want to guess who's
and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah,
post game too. He's such a nice guy. He's like Chris Bell in the sense that on the court he kind of can be a little. I don't want to use the term head case because he's not like that. He's fiery, but after the game he gives the longest, most thought out answers. Always says the right thing. It's interesting to see.
You want to guess who's second on the team in fouls committed?
Well, JJ and Donnie missed portions of the season. I can't see it being Nate Kings. George doesn't really. It can't be Kai. It can't be. It's not William Kyle. I guess would be William Kyle, but I doubt it's
William Kyle in my mind is the reasonable guess, right? The starting center. It's Nate George.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't recall that happening a lot, but I guess he's fouling a lot on the on the perimeter.
Maybe they're intentional, a lot of them, because they're losing at the end.
Or they're just like, oh, I turned it over. I gotta foul that guy. So he's just flailing at them down the court. Well, it's not they're picking on freshmen, Sean. It's they're playing like freshmen, and the numbers indicate they are playing like freshmen. Like, that's what's happening. They're not getting picked on. It's the numbers are identifying what our eyes are telling us, that Cayenne and Sadiq are currently playing like freshmen. And we hope they'd play better than that as, top 30, top 40 recruits. But they are freshmen who, in one way or another, are playing like freshmen. And I've seen from both of them, I don't care who's coaching the team next year. I'd love to have both those guys back because I think they both still have bright futures, especially at the college game. Like, I look at Sadiq White, and you watch him move, and you're like, this guy could be they're picking on freshmen with the fouls. Sadiq could be a guy that literally can switch 1 through 5 if he puts on some muscle. But I go back to it was the NC State game. He ended up switched on to not Quadir, their other guard there. That's I'm blanking on his name. The guy that was the preseason.
Name begins with a D, I want to say.
Yeah, D something. D. Yeah. There we go.
Donnie Free.
Yeah. Whatever his name is, not important. But Sadiq got switched on him, and he stayed with him all the way down the lane and then just got bodied out of the way. Sadiq, if he puts in a good off-season in the weight room, that's not going to happen because he's big. He's got a shot to be, if he maintains that quickness and puts on some strength, the fouls are going to stop happening because people are not going to be able to get in that position against him. And, same with Cayenne. If Cayenne gets a little muscle on him going forward, he's clearly skilled. They just need some time. The hockey arena's still not done, Kev? I heard that a few weeks ago. Have they not finished yet? Is that a problem? The Olympic opening ceremonies are Friday.
Oh, so what am I missing in here? Is this a 315 inside joke? Gavendo looks like he's getting beer on Friday.
No. In the post-game show, on Saturday, is that the one it was?
Notre Dame.
Was it the Notre Dame game? I don't even remember what. Yeah, it must have been the Notre Dame game. Our guy Mike in Connecticut called in and said that he was going to send beer to the next caller. And then nobody called immediately, which was shocking because free beer is on the line. And then eventually Gavendo called in. So Mike's slinging beer around the Northeast. Yeah, we're just making things happen here. We're just slinging beer around. We're slinging beer across state lines. Well, I'm told that's legal. Can I get the 315? The 315 lawyers don't need to look into this because I didn't sling any of the beer. But there we go.
All right, Brian. I have a favor for you. Unless you have anything else on basketball, but I have a favor for you.
Okay, what do we got?
We're closing in on an hour.
Uh-huh.
I had a little family dinner I had to be at Sunday.
Okay.
And that's kind of an excuse. The game was probably earlier. What I have heard.
Face off, yep.
Okay, yep. So I was preparing for dinner.
Right.
I was picking out my outfit.
I was mentally take some mental reps on dinner.
I was showering.
Did you visualize the dinner?
Teeth. Yeah. I had to have a pre-dinner meal. Point
Some
being,
call that lunch.
Did not catch the lacrosse game. From what I've seen on social media, I've seen they looked really good, and this is Syracuse lacrosse. I've heard something about a ride was bad, which I think I'm okay with lacrosse, but some of it I'm not. I've been told the 10-man ride, is that a thing, was bad.
Well, here's what happened. I'm going to do
pretty much. Give me all the details.
How people say, here's some lacrosse things that get said. The Tewaaraton is the Heisman of lacrosse. People like.
And I know the Tewaaraton.
Yeah. So here's what the 10-man ride is. The 10-man ride is the full court press of lacrosse. So that will help you envision it a little bit.
Okay.
Basically, what you do is you pull your goalie you take your goalie out of the cage, have him guard an attackman, and then you can press everybody else up the field to try to force a turnover. BU basically does that all of the time, and Syracuse was throwing the ball all over the damn lot against it. So Syracuse struggled breaking the press.
Okay.
Here's my main take on that. That was bad. Also, teams clearing game in the season opener is usually not great.
That makes sense.
Gary mentioned something in his post-game press conference. Gary's always playing like 4D chess on some stuff. St. Joe's is the next point. You're like, why the hell are they playing St. Joe's? Well, Gary mentioned something about, well, we'll see the 10-man again next week. So it sounds to me like, this is just me speculating, I think he intentionally scheduled back-to-back games against 10-man riding teams to start the year as preparation stuff. And again, I'm just guessing, but just half knowing how Gary's crazy brain comes up with these things, that's where I'm going with it. So I'm prepared to pause judgment on that part of the game until Saturday and see if they make a step. The defense was really good. Johnny Mullen was outstanding on faceoff. He might be the best guy in the country.
Player of the game.
Like, he was the player of the game. The big air player of the game. I worked in the air gate shot in the background of the graphic.
You had the wavy font.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. Like, I was all up in Canva getting that thing ready to go. We were exploring all sorts of parts of Canva, making that happen on Saturday night after the basketball game. We got deep in there, and then the clock was like, dude, go to bed. I'm like, no, I'm designing. And then I was tired. But, like, if Mullen's healthy in May, Syracuse is in it with a shot. I know that the Trey Deer accident and injury, like, you don't want to lose a guy like that, but Peyton Anderson, like, his nickname is Bear for a reason. And if you have a guy, like we talk about it in football, if you got a tank, that's good. In lacrosse, I think if you got a bear, that's good.
He stepped up late last year, right?
Yeah, like he was doing stuff. Like, he was playing second midfield. I forget, one of the attackmen, was it Finn Thompson, missed a few games hurt, I think, last year. He played a few games. Like, I'm not going to say he's better than Owen Hiltz. That would be insulting to Hiltz. But Hiltz's game and Thompson's game and Spallina's game were all kind of predicated on, like, just beautiful, quick ball movement lacrosse that if it was clicking, they were going to score 8 million goals. But if it wasn't necessarily clicking that other day, you didn't have anyone that could really run past this guy and get a goal. Bear can dodge and get a goal. So I'm intrigued at how that might play out going forward. I kind of like the composition. Your first midfield's still really good. Wyatt Hoddle did some stuff off the second midfield that was a little eye-opening in a good way for the first game. So I'd say this, like, for a first game, very good. The things we know they are good at, they were good at. They need to show me they can clear the ball. Because if that is a season-long issue, they will, like, if that turns into an unfixable issue, they will lose an important game that ends their season because of it. But I've seen many, many, many teams flail around in the first few games on clears that becomes not a problem in a few weeks. So the next
analysis of Peyton intrigues me because I think Kark said last year they were missing that guy, that ISO guy. Yeah. So if they could have that ISO guy. Is it still McCool? You're filling me in on everything.
Yeah, it's still McCool. He was solid. Okay. He stopped 2/3 of the shots.
Okay.
He was really good.
Okay.
He was good.
Cool.
You still got Billy Dwan back there. You still got why am I blanking on number 11's name? Riley Figueres. Figueres was really good. Like, Figueres is now like almost 2 years removed from his ACL tear. He looks athletically like the guy they gave the number 11 to on purpose. Like, he's really good, and they're still they're starting a new third defender whose name I've forgotten that was fine in this game. And Gary, I'd say one other area, like, short stick defensive midi has been a major issue for Orange lacrosse for like a decade. And
they brought in that Ochoa guy last year, right? And it didn't really.
Yeah, no, it was it was a grease fire last year. They couldn't guard anybody. Again, it's BU. BU's good. Like, they're a top 20 team. They're not great. They're going to play Maryland and Princeton coming up in short fashion, who are number 1 and number 2. That's a whole different thing. But the short stick D mids looked solid in the first game in a way we haven't seen in a while. So I think, Jordan, the pieces are there. And today's Wednesday. In 9 days, Maryland will be in the Dome. Now, you don't count anybody in or rule anybody out, especially in lacrosse, of a game in February. That is a potential Final Four preview. 2 weeks after that, Syracuse will be at Princeton, outside in February. I forget if Maryland's 1 or Princeton's 1 right now. One of them's 1, one of them's 2. Syracuse is 3. Like, that's another early season game. Like, the schedule is bonkers. Like, Gary always plays a nuts schedule. This may be the most nuts yet. It's just crazy everywhere you're going. like after the Maryland game, he's playing 5 straight road games. I think they're just
Yeah, I remember the
all
schedule
over
was
the place.
insane.
Yeah, and it's like
Okay.
this team. I know this. Like if this team gets to May intact health wise, they are not going to lose in the playoffs because they were not prepared or tested. Like they're going to
Okay.
get there
Yeah.
having seen everything you could possibly see, and yeah, then we'll see if they can go do it. Then we'll,
Well, this is good.
yeah, and
You
Joey
know,
Spillane
the men-
Spillane is still very good, and he's still not Mike Powell, and that's not an insult.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Okay. So men's team, for basketball, not doing great, but we got a lot of measuring stick games coming up. So that's exciting because the
Yeah.
women's basketball team, they're obviously playing really well, and they got Louisville soon, and that's going to be a game where it's like, all right, is this is this for real or not? Like, stay close with Louisville, and now we're talking. If you don't, it's like, okay, you're in that kind of you're a good team range, but you keep it close with Louisville, you can start thinking a little bit.
Yeah, what's Louisville ranked right now? Because
I want to say 6.
are they that high? I love Jeff.
I
Wells.
wanna
That guy's
say-
crazy.
I wanna
they're
say I heard
6th.
that.
They're 6th. They're 21-3. So like
Yeah.
Syracuse is 18-4. They're a tournament team. They've been an 8 seed in the bracketology for a few weeks running here, but their schedule most of the year, this Jordan, like the top, their 4 losses are realistically the 4 best teams they played, and their best win is probably this. Like the Stanford win they got a few weeks ago was eye-opening a little bit, but Stanford's not Stanford from a few years ago when they were a national title type team. Stanford was just outside the top 25 when Syracuse beat them. I thought it was a very impressive win, but yeah, like what are you gonna do with Louisville? Like that's like can you? And it's not can you win the game? Like would you like to
keep
win?
it close.
Like can you hang? Like where is that game? The game's in the Dome. The game's in the Dome Sunday at noon. So Super Bowl Sunday. Well, actually, I'm looking here. Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday at noon. The game is in the Dome. Who do they play? Who does Syracuse play Saturday? Syracuse plays somebody. I mean, on Thursday. Syracuse must play somebody on Thursday. Oh, Syracuse is at Boston College on Thursday. Well, they'll blow out BC on Thursday. BC's crap.
Brian, don't
Crap.
assume anything about
Much
BC
like
games.
I called Notre Dame crap, I call BC crap. You've been called crap. Wow, Super Bowl Sunday on the CW? That's a banger. That's a straight banger.
Yeah.
CW Sunday from the Dome? That's what the people are clamoring
Yeah.
for. Like
I'll
if
be
you-
making sure that game's on the radio too. So
Wow. Like if that game is close, you feel really good about the women. If they win that game, obviously it's a major win. If that game is close, you feel good about where they're at. But I look at their losses. Like Carolina, that was a winnable game. They lost. I think it was in overtime. Duke, they got their heads kicked in. Virginia Tech, they got their heads kicked in. And Michigan, who was 6th of the time, they got their heads kicked in. Like those are the 4 best teams they've played, or at least 4 of the 5 best teams they played. And in 3 of the games, you got blown out. So I think, like, go play with them. Go play a game. You got good players. Go play them straight up. Win, lose, whatever. If that's a competitive game down the stretch, I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah, for sure. There's things going their way now too, which is nice. And I know we're coming up on the end, but early Layla Falia, early in the season, she wasn't giving you quite what you thought when she came in. She's really found her own scoring. Sophie Burrows was not shooting well to start. Now she's kind of Nate Kingsing. She's getting back to what she does.
Nate
So
Kingsing.
I think if
You verbed him.
Yeah.
I like it.
yeah, so obviously as OJ is gonna keep doing what she does, it seems like she's developing her game and
She's really good.
staying out of foul trouble. Dominique Darius having moments and playing well. I think when she came in, based on the limited time she played, I don't think people were expecting her to have these moments like she has. So I think everybody's getting better for the most part, which is what is supposed to happen. It's not as ideal as some of these teams, the whole season that they're, tournament caliber, Sweet 16, Final Four caliber teams, but it is good to see them improving. So I'm excited. Hopefully hopefully it's not a complete blowout. And even if it is,
Yeah.
it's a really good team.
Yeah, so here we go. Here's my prediction for the rest of the Syracuse women's basketball season. 8 seed, get absolutely boned by once again getting shipped to stores, play UConn, probably win a tight game in the first round against the 9 seed, and get their just limbs ripped from their body against UConn in the first round, as the committee seems to like to do, because Syracuse can be a bus ride away from stores, so they like to do that, because that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, is Jordan like the Mexican guy on Jimmy Kimmel?
I don't watch late night TV. I'm usually watching sports, so I don't get the reference. But I'll take it as a compliment based on the fact that
Could he?
people know who
I
he
forget
is.
what that guy's name. He could be. Should he be Andy Richter? That's more of my late night watching generation. That was Conan's sidekick for you, Conan O'Brien.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the Barbarian.
not the Barbarian, the O'Brien, not the Barbarian. All right, no eggnog, no
What,
eggnog
yeah,
treats.
I'm,
You're out.
I'm taking a stand, Brian.
It's February.
I'm taking
now.
a stand. I'm taking a stand, Brian.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I'm not really in an eggnog mood.
It's
I'm
February.
not feeling festive. I don't feel like I've received any gifts. It has nothing to do with the time of year. It has to do with what we're talking about all the time. Transfers have stopped coming in for the football team, basketball team. We pretty much lost all hope. So I'm taking a stand, Brian.
All right.
I will not be consuming another eggnog flavored product on this show until one of two things happens. One of them is Syracuse men's basketball wins a game. So I hope, it's Cal or no nog. Or
No nog February.
so it's either Syracuse men's basketball wins a game or we get the answer to the question that we've all been asking potentially prematurely and now I think pretty fairly. Who's next? Who?
Which will be whether anyone likes it or not, asking it tomorrow again in the 11 o'clock hour. And we've already, it's, who is it? Big Tuna, who's not in the chat right now. We have a Big Tuna
No.
that kicks around the chat now. It's his birthday tomorrow, Jordan. We found out in postgame the other night. So I let, or no, this might have been, I think it might have been Monday live in the 315. We found out that Big Tuna's birthday is on Thursday. So I let Big Tuna select who's going to be featured and who's next tomorrow. So if you were with us on Monday, you know the answer to that already. And if not,
Tuna.
you'll stay tuned till tomorrow to see what Big Tuna gave us. Yeah, Big Tuna. Outstanding. Like once I found out a guy named Big Tuna's birthday landed on the day of who's next, I'm like, I got the perfect present for you, Big Tuna. And we wrapped it up and we gave it to him, and he made his choice.
Why Big Tuna is so funny.
It's funny. It's funny. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Big Tuna.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, my birthday's Friday. So like Big Tuna's birthday Thursday. We're handing out presents to Big Tuna, and yeah, there we go. That's where we're at. No nog for Jordan. Big Tuna's. Yeah. Bill Parcells is he's the Tuna. Jim Halpert was called the Big Tuna on The Office by Andy. That's a thing. It's a delicious fish. It could be eaten cooked or raw. And that's where we're at on tuna. There's a TV show where they catch tunas and they just reel them in. There we go.
Rocky has a joke about tuna.
All right.
You serious?
Do I know this? Rocky
Rocky
Like
Balboa.
has a joke about
What's
tuna.
What's the difference between a piano and a tuna fish? You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Oh yeah, he did say yeah. Oh yes, that was
Yeah.
to Adrian, or was that yes? Was that
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Come
All
on.
right, that's a good callback. I think that's the end of our tuna conversation. Kev has eggnog for Jordan, who's currently on an eggnog break.
I gotta get.
Yeah, you can tune a piano, you can't tune a fish. Shout out Rocky.
Why is
Balboa.
Matt on why? What is Matt at? That's his name, Jordan G's. What's wrong with that? Is Big Tuna not funny?
No, Big Tuna is like
funny.
whoever Big Tuna is in real life, he intentionally named his name Big Tuna. It was
It's
like
hilarious. Come on.
Big Tuna. He had numbers. It was like Big Tuna 4597 or something. It was Big Tuna and some big digits. Thank you, Matt NY. Thank you. Well, Rocky messed up the joke. Yeah. Well, Adrian. All right. I think we're officially done with it tonight. This is where we're at. Jordan's got a cookie. Cookie sounds good. Maybe I'll go get myself a little cookie. With that, for Jordan, I'm Brian. Upcoming broadcast tomorrow in the AM 11 o'clock. We'll be live in the 315. We will continue our series, Who's Next? We'll continue our look into who may or may not be replacing one Adrian Red Autry in a month. Saturday, the basketball game is at noon. The lacrosse game is at noon. We'll be doing a basketball post-game show, but depending how grim we're feeling following Syracuse and Virginia, maybe we'll also talk about Syracuse and St. Joe's lacrosse. Next week, there's basketball on Wednesday, so this show will be on Thursday.
Get Big Tuna to tune in. Get Big Tuna in the house.
Big Tuna, I think, became a member of the channel the other day, too. So Big Tuna should be back with his great name in green, hopefully here for his birthday present tomorrow. And with that, good night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.